Ever feel stuck? Like really stuck? Not because life is terrible, not because everything is falling apart, but because you're trying. Like you're really, really trying hard. You're doing all the things you're supposed to do. You're taking care of the kids, or at least keeping them alive. You're running the business. You're trying to eat right. You're trying to work out. You're trying to be a good spouse. You're trying to save money. You're trying to make your customers happy. You're trying to stay positive. You're trying to hold it all together. Your normal life. And somehow everything feels extra chaotic. The customers are complaining. The scale goes up. The kids are whining for one reason after another because they want to go on vacation. You don't know if you can even go on vacation. You don't know if you have the money to go on vacation. You don't know when you're supposed to find the time to plan all this. Or maybe they just want your attention and the baby's pulling at your pant leg, crying for you. The house all of a sudden is a mess and the laundry's backed up again. The to-do list just keeps growing. The loans are piling up. The bills are piling up. The inventory needs to be bought and counted. And no matter how much you do, you can't seem to catch up. And that's exactly how the last 2 weeks have felt for me. Almost 3 weeks now. Not bad. And not terrible. Just heavy. Welcome back to Crumbcake and Chaos. I'm Carrie Shelley, mom of 4 and 2 angel babies, entrepreneur, side hustle queen, world record holder, owner of Enchanted Cakes and Treats and the Cake and Wedding Cottage. And honestly, someone who is just plain drained. Let's talk mental health. Mental exhaustion. Because I don't care what anybody says, mental exhaustion is real. And I think we underestimate how much it actually affects us. It affects your sleep. It affects your weight. It affects your body, your mood, your patience, your hormones, your relationships, your outlook, everything. And I don't think that people talk about that enough. Sometimes you're not lazy, you're not unmotivated or failing. Sometimes you're just plain exhausted. And the crazy part is, I don't even know that one thing caused it. I kind of think it was just everything. Some of it was stress, some of it's overwhelm, some of it is the anniversary of losing my dad. That's always so hard for me. And some of it's probably hormones, because let's be honest, being a woman is a whole adventure all by itself. And some of it is because I've simply stopped taking care of myself the way that I need to. And then don't get me started on baby B's struggle with sleeping at night. He's finally getting a little routine, knock on wood. And then on top of it, I recorded 2 weeks ago, actually. I recorded the podcast and I listened to it and I hated it. Not because the message was wrong, but because the energy was wrong. It wasn't me. It sounded angry, it sounded bitter, and it kind of was. And after listening to it, I beat myself up hard. Like, really hard, to the point where I didn't record last week's episode because I was kind of being a brat about it, to be honest. And apparently that's what I do. And it happens. We all do that. Isn't it funny how we can give grace to everyone else, but we're ruthless with ourselves? Be careful how you speak to yourself because you're listening. And let me tell you, once you start being mean to yourself, it is a vicious spiral. You start picking everything apart. Every little thing and decision just starts to be wrong. And then there was the scale. I had a rough 2 weeks. Didn't sleep well. There was stress. I didn't really eat the best. And the scale went in the wrong direction. And instead of saying, hey, that's okay, weight loss isn't linear, I went straight to, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this right? I'm failing. And I beat myself up over a friggin' number. And believe me, I know better. I freaking know better. And it didn't matter. I was stuck. I was friggin' stuck on negative. It was horrible. And then on top of it, life threw me another curveball. I'm bird sitting for an old neighbor, which means every day I get to park in front of my old house, and every day I get to sulk and relive the emotions, the lies, the betrayal, the family situation, the house we lost, the money loss that came with that, the belongings that I still can't get out of the house, if they're even there, and the realization that there are people who are family that I probably won't ever speak to again. And it stirs up emotions I don't even want to deal with, because sometimes you've healed enough to function, not enough to revisit it every day. Healing doesn't mean it doesn't hurt anymore. It means it doesn't control you anymore. And then, yes, there's more. The customers. Whoo! The customers the past few weeks. And honestly, I think that hurt wasn't about the complaints. Although I'll be honest, the nagging and complaining when you are already down starts to really weigh on you. But the lack of grace, the lack of patience, the lack of community, the feeling that the ones complaining aren't seeing all of the effort. It's unreal. If you guys heard some of the things, you'd think I was lying. I mean, we're trying. We're trying really hard. We're lowering prices. We're working on building a website where we can order and just have curbside. We're trying to improve inventory. We're saving a business that's been around for almost 50 years. And some days it feels like they don't notice. Like they are just so ungrateful. And that's when I realized maybe I'm not I'm feeling. Maybe I'm not failing. Maybe I'm just empty. Maybe this is a me problem. And maybe it's because my tank is empty. Everything feels harder. Everything feels heavier. Everything feels personal. Everything feels bigger than it really is. And maybe, just maybe, the answer isn't to push harder. Maybe the answer is to rest, to breathe, to give yourself some grace. And remember that you're human. And humans were not designed to carry everything forever. You don't have to earn rest. You need rest so that you can continue. And maybe that's what somebody listening needs to hear today. Because I know I did. You're not lazy. You are not weak. You are not failing. And some people, let's be honest, they're just miserable and like to complain. Some people are just assholes. But that's a whole different story. You're tired. And tired people don't need shame. They need grace. And maybe that's just the hardest part. We are so used to pushing. We are so used to surviving. We're so used to saying, I'm fine. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll rest when things slow down. I just have to get through this week. Man, I can't even tell you how many times I have said all of those. If you ask my husband, I say a lot. And then another week comes, and another, and another. And before you know it, you've been surviving for months, maybe even years. You're stuck in survival. And you don't even remember what normal feels like anymore. When you're used to survival mode, peace can feel so uncomfortable. Quiet and relaxing can feel like you're being lazy and doing something wrong. And I really think that's just where I've been. Not unhappy, not depressed, not falling apart, just running on empty. And it's funny because from the outside, everybody sees all these exciting things happening. And they are exciting. There's a second business, there's growth and expansion and opportunities. And they say, wow, things are amazing. Your life is just blowing up. Things are so great. And they are. They really are. But you can be grateful and exhausted. You can be blessed and overwhelmed. You can love your life and still feel tired. Those things can exist at the same time. That does not make you ungrateful. Sometimes we feel guilty admitting that. Like we're ungrateful. Like we shouldn't complain. Like because good things are happening, we're not allowed to say, this is hard. But it is hard. It's really hard. And saying it's hard does not make you weak. You can be thankful and tired at the same time. And honestly, once I realized how grumpy and just mean I was being to myself, I really started thinking, what if I talk to my friend the way I talk to myself? Could you imagine this? Can you imagine if one of my friends came to me and said, Carrie, I have been running 2 businesses. I have 4 kids. I am grieving my father. I've had family betrayal. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm not sleeping. I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. And I feel like I'm failing. Should I say, yeah, you should probably just do better? What's wrong with you? Why can't you get your shit together? No, absolutely not. That is so ridiculous. Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds? I would tell them, of course you're tired. Look at everything you're carrying. You're burning the candle at both ends. Your paper plate is so full that it's starting to seep. Give yourself some grace. You need to rest and reset. You need to take a breath. You're doing so much better than you think you are. So, why don't we say that to ourselves? Why are we so mean to ourselves? Why are we our own worst critics? Talk to yourself like you talk to someone you love. Because the truth is, you should love yourself. Not in like a conceited, arrogant, cocky way, but you should take care of yourself and you should love yourself. Nobody can pour from an empty cup. Nobody. Not moms, not wives, not business owners, not husbands, not leaders, not anybody. Eventually, you have to refill. Eventually, you have to slow down. Eventually, your body says enough. And if you don't listen, it'll make you listen. Been there. Normally, that results in days spent in bed because I just can't function. It can result in hospital stays, surgeries, seizures, getting sick. And you know what? Maybe that's what these last 2 weeks have been. And instead of me waiting until it's so bad that I'm laid up, maybe I'm getting a little smarter. Maybe I'm getting a little wiser in my old age. It's not failure, not punishment, not me losing my touch. Maybe God is just reminding me that I was not created to carry the world. That's his job. And honestly, neither were you. Maybe you're listening to this and you have just been feeling off. You're emotional, you're irritated, you're gaining weight, you're tired, you're snapping at people, you're crying over stupid things, you're beating yourself up because you're not performing the way you normally do. Or maybe that's just all me. Maybe you don't need another self-help book or another podcast. Not that I don't want you to listen. Maybe you don't need another diet or another planner. Maybe you just need to rest. Maybe you just need to sleep. Take a nap. Maybe you need to stop trying to earn your worth through productivity. Rest isn't something you earn. It is something you need. You have to slow down to speed up. Life comes in seasons. There are seasons to hustle and grind, seasons to grow, seasons to fight. There are seasons to heal, seasons to breathe, seasons to slow down. And none of those seasons make you weak. They make you human. So maybe this week, instead of beating yourself up, give yourself a little grace. Maybe the laundry waits. It's just another day. It'll be there tomorrow. I promise. Maybe the workout isn't perfect. A bad workout is better than no workout. Maybe you don't work out and you just take a little walk. Take a walk with the kids. Maybe dinner comes through the drive-thru or DoorDash. Maybe the house stays messy. It'll be there tomorrow. Maybe the answer or the email don't get answered until tomorrow. And maybe that's okay. Because your worth isn't measured by how much you accomplished today. Your worth isn't measured by how productive you were. Your worth isn't measured or determined by the number on the friggin' scale. And anyone on a weight loss journey knows that that number is not important. It's not measured and determined by the number in your bank account or the number of things you crossed off your to-do list. Your worth was never tied to your productivity. I am having an off day, guys. Your value doesn't decrease because your energy does. If you're in a season where you're mentally exhausted, I hope you'll remember this episode. I hope you'll remember that you're not the only one. I'm right there with you. I hope you'll remember that even the people who look like they have it all together, they have bad weeks where they're barely holding it together. And that is okay. Take care of yourself. Get some sleep. Drink some water. Go for a walk. Call the friend. Say no when you need to. Ask for help when you need to. And remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If this episode resonated with you, if you've been feeling the weight of the world lately, or if you know someone who's been running on empty, would you do me a favor? Share this episode with them. Because I have a feeling there are a lot more people who need to hear this than you realize. And if you're enjoying Crumbcake and Chaos, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and leave a review wherever you're listening. Every share and every comment and every review helps me continue growing this little community that we're building together. It's about helping other business owners know that they are not alone in the tough times. And as always, if you guys have any questions, if you need advice, if you just need someone to remind you that you're doing better than you think, send me a message. Leave me a comment. I am always here to help. Thank you for being part of Carrie's chaos with me. And until next time, please be kind to yourself. You've survived every hard season you have ever faced. I've got a pretty good feeling that you're going to survive this one too. And if life gets crummy, eat the crumbs. Have something sweet to look forward to. Have a great night, guys.